Welcome into another edition of The Session with Londa and David. My name is David Austin.
I'm Londa Sherwood Austin. Welcome back.
I'm excited about today's show, and I know it makes you laugh every single time because I say it every single time. But we've been up to a lot of stuff over the last couple of weeks. We didn't do a show last week because we were on a business trip, which was very fruitful. So we're going to talk about that kind of thing. We're going to talk about long-range planning, which is something you've been reading about lately with your, what is it called, a 4-hour work week? Is that what it's called?
I can't remember.
I think that's what it's called. And I've got some ideas about that. That and a ton of other things are coming up on this episode of The Session with Londa and David, brought to you each and every week by our friends at Sherwood Austin Homes and Sherwood Austin Mortgage. Boy, they're nice people.
Well, you know, I just think that's a hell of a guy over there at Sherwood Austin Mortgage.
I'll tell you, that guy cares more about helping you solve your problems than he does a paycheck, which is not always super profitable.
Speaking of problems, I saw an interesting quote this morning.
Okay.
From a realtor, and they said, when the pain of staying in your home is greater than the low interest rate that you have, call me.
Oh, I don't hate that.
And they went on to kind of expand on that. That it was an Instagram reel. It was done really well. The reel was that, and then there was some explanation in text in the caption below. But they talked about life happens,
right? And
you have that next baby and you're cramped, but you're thinking, oh, we can't move up because the interest rates. And at some point, sometimes that's absolutely correct. The pain of staying put, the difficulty, the frustration, the whatever it is, will outweigh I have a 3.5% interest rate and now it's 7 or, whatever it is.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But, and I just thought that was a really good point. Kind of to the point that we often make that if you have to buy or sell, now is the time to buy or sell.
Okay. So I just listened to everything you said, and I have some points that I'd like to make based on what you just said.
And hit it.
I think worrying that customers care about the interest rate is a limiting belief.
Oh,
customers care about being able to afford their payment and living in a place that's acceptable to them.
But you get what they did, right? They solved a problem their clients didn't even know they had.
Yes.
And that's good marketing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's great. So I think people in our industry, which is real estate and mortgage, have limiting beliefs that are holding them back in their businesses. If you've ever heard a realtor or a lender say these words, now's not the best time to make a move because of market conditions, they should be fired. That's just like the guy at Walmart telling somebody who wants to buy a new pair of Reeboks, ooh, now's not the right time. There was an explosion at the rubber plant in Manila, and shoe rubber has gone up 37%. You don't want to buy Nikes or Reeboks today. Right. You want to wait until the market comes back. That's outrageous and fictitious. No one's ever done that. Why are we doing it about interest rates and the market?
Well,
it's a limiting belief.
Don't do it.
Right.
But speaking of limiting beliefs.
Yes.
I had a limiting belief I didn't even know I had, got blown completely to pieces this week.
Okay.
Would you like me to share about that?
I would
and you
love
know what
that.
I'm talking about.
I would love it.
So we're sitting in the sauna at the gym.
Yep.
And we overhear these 3 people talking about their houses. One is building a house.
Right.
One just moved into a house.
Right.
One has been in their house for a couple of years and is planning to sell in a couple of years. Okay. And these 3 women are having this conversation in the sauna. It's 10 a.m. on a weekday. They've got their kids at the play place. They're doing their thing, right? Okay. So that sets the scene. Here was the thing though. The kind of homes that they were describing are like high dollar homes.
Sure.
In our market.
Yes.
700,000-800,000, maybe even more.
Yeah.
But and this is what I said to you later. I said, I didn't expect, and I think they were probably young millennials.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect someone who uses the term laque.
And I still don't know what that means except for a necklace with a picture in it.
That's
what it means to me.
Not one word. I didn't expect someone who talks like that, frankly, to be in that price point of home.
Sure.
Yet there were 3 of them right there. And I thought, oh my gosh, that was a limiting belief that I had that I didn't even know I had until that happened. And I had the privilege of overhearing that conversation. One thing I thought was interesting is one of them said, yeah, we've been in our house 5 years. And then she's like, but it's weird because all of a sudden, she was like, it's crazy because all of a sudden, just randomly, my social media is starting to show me all these listings. And I did interject at that moment and say, oh, it's not random. If you've been in your house 5 to 7 years, that's an algorithm thing that's going to start feeding you houses because that's the average time that, you would be in your house and want to start looking at moving. So,
sure. And
it's just so interesting.
The algorithm listens to your conversations. They all had their cell phones, and they were all talking about their houses in the sauna. Mm-hmm. So for sure, they're getting listings because that's their conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But limited belief. Didn't even know I had. Shattered.
Well, sure. And,
shattered. I loved it. I was so excited coming out of there.
And here's something that I hear people say all the time. When my parents bought their first house, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And there's always an argument as to why they can't do it, but their parents could.
When your parents were at 12% interest.
Well, but here's the thing. And people say, well, inflation and house prices. Their parents were having the same conversation about their parents.
Sure. Yeah.
And their parents before them were having the same conversation.
And their parents before them said, what do you mean you're getting a mortgage, a 30-year mortgage?
Right.
We don't have mortgages.
That's
Nobody
exactly right.
mortgages.
Before the 1920s, you had to have 20% down to buy a house. Had to. There are people who still believe today that you have to have 20% down.
Bank loans for houses didn't even exist.
Right.
There was a time when bank loans for a house didn't exist.
Right.
It became popular after... was it World War II?
Well, World War II is when it became popular to be able to buy a house with less than 20% down.
Yeah.
Because that's when Roosevelt put together Housing and Urban Development and FHA.
More
happened.
On credit.
Right.
More stuff on time.
Sure.
Became more accessible.
Right. And in the late 70s, early 80s, women couldn't get a home loan without their husband's signature. So everything is changing, ever changing. And if you put blinders on and say things like, well, my parents were able to buy their first house because it was only $100,000.
Yeah, and they made $2.80 an hour.
That's exactly right. So the cost of housing now is not dramatically higher than it was then if you look at the expense of life and incomes. It's all relative.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. So my moral of the story in saying all this is, if you're waiting for interest rates to come down to sell housing to your customers, you're making a mistake because they don't necessarily have the same limiting belief that you do.
Right.
They know that interest rates are high because you've told them so. They know that the cost of living is high because they've watched the news.
Right, the news is telling them.
The truth is, people only care about whether or not they can afford their payment and whether or not the home is acceptable. And do you know that the younger generation is buying more than it ever has before because they believe they need to get into the game? That's what's happening now.
Well, that's the message that I put out on my social media is buy the starter home.
Right.
Build the equity.
Yes.
Sell it later. That's the play. Just get in the game.
And statistically nationwide, that is happening now.
Yeah. Just get in the game. I talked to a friend this morning who said, we need to start looking. And I was like, well, this is exciting. And then they clarified, well, to be clear, our lease is up the end of July and we want to rent for one more year before we actually buy. And I thought, and I didn't respond because I need to think about how to respond to that because that's stupid.
Well, maybe not, right?
Well, okay, yes.
If the rent is less expensive than owning now, and their whole thing is about saving money
and
for a down
in our
payment,
market, it can be.
Then that may not be a bad thing. But what's important is giving people options and talking to them about their needs and their wants, because that will help you create a strategy. Having a strategy based on the national news and what's happening in Iran is not a strategy. Having a strategy based on your client's needs is a strategy. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's so good.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Hey, if you're watching our show or if you're listening to it today, you might notice Londa seems a little lighter, a little airier today. Yeah, it's because my chronic constant pain is starting to dissipate.
Ooh, nice.
I feel like I have a new lease on life. I've been in
You want to own it, you don't want to rent it.
Huh?
A new lease on life.
I've been in this terrible, awful, horrible 24/7 chronic level 8 out of 10 pain for like the last 5 weeks. And finally was able to get into I already had an appointment with my doctor. I probably should have tried to move it up. But, I already had it on the books to talk about some other stuff. And so I was like, oh, no, I'll be fine, which... No, I wasn't fine. But now we've got a course of action going forward, and I'm really excited. Well, actually, I don't mind sharing that I'm on peptide injections for this chronic pain and injury. And so I'll keep you updated week by week how my progress is, but it's looking very hopeful.
Sure.
It's been 5 days since my first injection, and my pain is down dramatically.
That's good.
Yeah.
And is your strength coming back in that part of your body, or are you taking it easy and not testing that?
Well, yesterday I was able to go up and down our stairs in our house like normal, and I
not
haven't
one
been able,
step at a time.
Dude, nothing makes you feel dumber than you go somewhere and you're beep boop. Beep, boop,
right.
Beep, boop, up the stairs. I mean, I did that. We had a family gathering on Saturday, and they've got like 4 or 5 steps going up into the house from the backyard. And every time, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, you know. So
chronic pain is awful. And it's exhausting.
It's the worst. It is exhausting. You've noticed by like 6:30 p.m.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much done.
Yeah.
Pretty much done.
Every now and then my back goes out like that, right? Every now and then, like 2 or 3 times a year. And it's really just a trip to my chiropractor. And he goes, did it happen again? And he just puts it right back into place, which is great that that's a possibility.
Yeah.
But whenever that happens, I am...
You are a grumperson.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I don't like
Well,
it.
and I'll admit, I've been very crabby.
Well, I like you nonetheless.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
it.
it. So anyway, that's exciting. And if you're in chronic pain, I highly recommend you talk to your doctor about peptides. I really didn't know, because most of the people that I know that are on peptides, they're ordering, from some guy on the internet. And I'm like, I'm not comfortable with that.
Right.
My doctor said even they get their peptides from a supplier, right? Mm-hmm. And they come certified, and then they send them to a lab for testing to get a second certification so that they know what they're giving their patients is pure. Because he said that's the problem with the I got a guy online you can get it from. He's like, you don't know what the purity is of that stuff.
I see.
His are double certified, which it made me feel better.
That's good.
So I'm excited.
Okay. That's exciting. That's
I'm coming
good stuff.
back, I hope.
Okay, so let's talk about, we went on a trip last week with
yes.
a group of business partners and spent a day in a seminar talking about, for the most part, AI and how AI can help in your business. I got to tell you,
wow.
I haven't been this excited about technology in a while.
I haven't been this excited about technology ever.
Okay.
In my lifetime.
Tell me more about that.
I think the last time I was this giddy about something is when my parents brought home the Commodore VIC-20.
Okay. The VIC-20. Is that before the Commodore 64?
I don't know. Maybe. I just
Okay.
remember it was a Commodore VIC-20.
I don't remember that one.
And it was the first computer that we had in our house.
Sure.
And
what did they use it for? That's interesting. I'm excited about this now. When they brought that computer home, what was their goal?
I don't remember. I was really small.
Okay.
Maybe my brothers, they used it as kind of a very, I'm remembering now, they used it as kind of a very sophisticated typewriter.
Okay. Like a word processor kind of deal.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And I don't think it did much else, but I don't remember. You could write code on it. And I think there was some of that that went on, but I don't know.
During that
I was watching Gilligan's Island. I don't really know.
During that early computer period, I remember in 5th grade at Eden Park Elementary in inner city Baton Rouge, they had in the gifted classroom an Apple computer.
Ooh.
And you could play a downhill skiing game that was math. And so every time you got the equation right, the skier would turn direction and miss an obstacle. And if you got it wrong, they would turn into the tree and hit it, and their legs and arms would go.
Yeah, I remember actually playing math games on a computer at school.
That was awesome to me. And my classroom at Eden Park Elementary was the first one in that school to get a computer. And it was cool.
So being that excited to today, going to this class, I mean, you and I were just eating it up. And I want to say the people that you brought with us were like dialed in.
Sure.
I was really happy to have people there with us that are just as hungry as we are, eager to learn, and not just the AI stuff, but the other stuff too. It was an advanced realtor training sponsored by United Wholesale Mortgage in the thriving metropolis of Pontiac, Michigan.
If you're going to Pontiac, Michigan, you're there for a reason. There's not a lot happening.
You're there to go to UWM.
I think you're right.
You're not, but I love that they are making the investment in their people to bring people in for these kind of trainings. And it was motivating and inspiring and exciting.
Yes.
It was everything you want it to be.
Yes.
And I've implemented some of it. I mean, straight away coming out, that's always my goal. Like, what are your 3 takeaways, and what's the one thing that you're going to implement immediately?
Sure.
So
I love it. And every time I go to something like that, like if you're working for a large real estate firm, they have their annual big damn show.
Yeah.
And you go and you see all the movers and shakers in your company, and you get to feel like you're part of a family, and it's a really cool deal. Well, that's what this was.
Yeah.
Except we're independent mortgage people going to visit with a wholesale lender.
Right.
That's what it is. So they're putting on a big damn show every week.
Right.
Every single week.
Yeah.
And so we were there for this advanced realtor training, and it was super exciting, and we took a great group of people, and I think it's going to be really beneficial for not only their businesses, but for our businesses.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that was exciting.
It is, and we love to help people grow and learn, and what I really appreciate when I am in the space of somebody else who is eager to learn.
Yes.
Yes. And so it was really fun. So what I would say to our listener, to our watcher, is whatever you're super excited about or into, or maybe it's a hobby, maybe it's a job, maybe it's just something you're interested in, find something like that, a gathering of like-minded people that you can attend.
Sure.
Make the sacrifice of, the investment of the time and the money that it takes to go do it, because you will come back refreshed, excited.
Yeah.
maybe inspired. Maybe you don't know. The other thing I did, I don't love to fly, right? As a rule, I don't love to fly.
Right.
But I love the time away from screens. I know I can get Wi-Fi on the plane.
Sure.
I know that I can. I know that. I pretend I can't.
Right.
Because I do other stuff. I do a lot of writing, creative writing on flights. I also, on this particular trip, I read half a book on the way there and the other half of it on the way back.
Right.
I read Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey.
Which is not a self-improvement book, so I'm very proud of you because... it's about his philosophy of life and his story. That's different than the way you normally read. You normally read things that are about getting through a specific thing to be able to come out to the other side of the thing and be better. You do self-improvement a lot when you're reading.
Yeah, but I also love autobiographies and biographies. I love people's stories. I find them very inspiring as well. And I didn't know what I was going to think of that. It had been recommended to me by lots of people. And so I didn't know what I was going to think. It was very entertaining.
Yeah. Well, and he's no dummy, right? That guy knows how to weave a tale, spin a yarn, as it were.
Oh, for sure. Great storyteller.
Yeah. Weird Oscar speeches, but other than that, pretty.
He's kind of a weird dude. You know what I mean? Like he's pretty eccentric, I think. But you have to be, I think, to be...
a theater person?
I think to be at the top of your game in anything, you've got to be a little different.
Well,
you're unusual.
I think to be able to spit out emotion in the blink of an eye, you have to have some different level of reality than other people.
Yeah.
Because there's no chance that I can construct and whip up tears at a moment's notice. And I've done a lot of acting over my development growing up. I cannot, because that's just not an emotion I'm very connected to. I have to have something very raw happening for me to start to be teary-eyed. And typically it involves you. That's the only way that really happens for me. Like if I feel like I've disappointed you, then it's easy. It just happens. I don't have to think about it. I can't imagine creating a mental state that would do that. I can't imagine it. So, yes, you are a unique individual if you can do that. You know, I know how to make words sound emotional. I don't know how to make words be emotional.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So,
there you go.
So book the thing. Even if it's an online... It's better to do it in person, but even if it's like an online workshop or a something.
I think there's something to be said, though, for getting around people with similar
for
interests
sure. I'm
and
just
goals.
thinking, what if you can't? Like, what if you physically can't?
I don't believe you physically can't. You know what? If you want to get around people with similar ideas and similar goals, join a civic organization. Go to a Rotary Club meeting. Go to the Chamber of Commerce. There are tons of things you can do that cost you $0.00 to start. You don't necessarily have to get on a plane and fly to Pontiac, Michigan to be around people that have similar interests.
Yeah.
But you have to be around people with similar interests to have that experience.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. And not everybody has the dogged determination either. Like when we went on that trip, I was still very much in 24/7, 8 out of 10 pain.
Right. But you had dogged determination and you did it anyway.
Yeah.
And you loved the moving sidewalks at the airport.
Well, at the facility too. It's a massive campus. Yes. They've got the longest sky bridge in America.
Between two buildings. That's right. The longest sky bridge between two buildings in America.
Yes.
At the campus of United Wholesale Mortgage.
But they've
Pontiac,
got like
Michigan.
Moving sidewalks in them. Thank goodness.
Just like an airport.
There's no way I could have gone from one side to the other if it hadn't been.
Right. Yeah, I thought it was a good trip overall, and I thought it was great that we got to do that with three people that were all super interested in what was going on.
Yeah.
Really, really good. And the advanced realtor training is different than the one we went to last year. That was the beginner realtor training, realtor and builder training. So it was definitely interesting. And I loved how we learned about how AI can help with the creative side of your business, but not take creativity away.
Say more about that.
That's very interesting, because the AI training that we received talked about prompting AI to be able to help craft the things that you need more personally and with greater design.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, there was a good amount of time spent on teaching us how to create a good prompt.
Right. And the only stories that we've ever heard prior to this meeting that I've ever heard about creating good prompts are stories about genies, and how people for years and years and years throughout literary history, there have been stories about genies and not asking specifically for the right thing.
Oh, I see.
And getting a nightmare instead of a joy.
I see.
Like, I want to be rich, and that's the only goal. And all of a sudden, everybody in their family hates them, and they're wealthy, but no one wants to talk to them. You need to have better prompts. Do you know what I mean? And that's kind of what I got out of the AI discussion. You can in 5 words get 10 pages of stuff from AI.
But it might not be any good.
If you use 50 words, you'll get 10 pages that are more crafted to what you're really looking for.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
And they dove into all the different kinds of AI and what, Chat GPT, this is what it does. This is what it's best for right now, right? Everything's changing so fast. Claude, this is what it does. This is what it's best for. Gemini, this is what it does. This is what it's best for. Gamma, this is what it does. This is what it was very, for somebody like me who, I feel like I have very limited knowledge of it. I'm kind of just learning, but I guess so is everybody else.
Right.
Yeah. So one interesting exercise we did was we broke into groups and did some old school training, which was overcoming objections.
Right.
And boy, people don't know what the hell they're doing.
Well, that's the thing, right? A lot of people who are in sales are not trained salespeople.
We're good. Wow.
I'm just saying, the worst way to overcome an objection is to just start talking and bulldoze over the people. And a lot of people do that.
A lot of people.
A lot of people do. If you ask questions instead of give...
I think you have to be curious instead of defensive.
That's correct. Yes. I don't want to do anything right now because interest rates are too high. Well, tell me about that. What do you mean interest rates are too high? Well, I heard on the news, and I should wait till the Fed meeting.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, tell me more about what's really important to you and why interest rates are too high. People will tell you what's really important if you just keep asking questions. And everybody I've had that conversation with is only concerned about whether or not they can afford the payment. That's really all they're talking about.
If you think that all we talk about is real estate, I want you to listen really carefully right now, because what we're talking about right now in this overcoming objections, how to respond to an objection, is applicable to every single relationship you have in your life, because somebody is going to object to what you say.
Right.
And now you have a decision to make. You have a road to choose. You can either get defensive and try to bulldoze over the objection, or you can get curious and just start asking questions. And this is great in friendships, partnerships, business relationships, marriages, parents and children, grandparents and grandchildren, like neighbors. Your tree's hanging over in my yard. Oh, come show me what you're talking about.
Right.
Let's take a look at it, and we can kind of talk about what's going on here, and maybe we can, you can help me understand.
And if you ask questions,
but if you get all bowed up and defensive, man, you've already lost.
Right. That's exactly right.
And it's the same in sales. We're really problem solvers.
Right. That's it.
And at the end of the day, like, I think his name's Jeremy Miner. He's a sales coach. And at his trainings, he'll be like, sell me this thing.
Sure.
Kind of like the old Jordan
Belfort.
Sell me this pen,
right.
And what he'll say to people is, what do you do? And you would say, well, I do mortgages or home loans. And he'd say, okay, why should I go with you? That's how he does the sell me this pen, right? Mm-hmm. Why should I go with you? And they always start with, well, you should go with me because I get results and I'm the best and I this, that, and the other thing. And I always think in his videos that he has out, I always think like, I wonder if he ever comes across anybody who says what I would say to him, which is, well, I don't know that you should, honestly. Like, tell me what your goal is. What are you trying to achieve? And let's see. This isn't a one question thing. This is a multi-question thing. I got to know what your goals are, what you're trying to achieve. We're going to have some back and forth, and then we're going to see if it's a fit or not.
Right. The old sales technique that I learned from Malcolm Adams, who was one of my original sales trainers, was when you're making an appointment to meet with a prospective client, you make them feel like they have to qualify to work with you. And that puts them in a much different position. When you're trying to book an appointment, say these words, he said to me. Hey, listen, when we get together, I'm only going to need 10 minutes of your time to see if it makes sense for us to do business together. If you want more of my time, that's great, but I'll only need about 10 minutes to see if we're a fit.
Yeah.
So when works best for you? Tuesday or Wednesday? Morning or afternoon?
Yeah.
And now you're not just somebody with their hand out. Now you're someone who is qualifying them as well.
Well, and it's, being considerate of somebody's time is really important.
Absolutely.
It's one of the things I say, do you want, you've heard me say it, do you want the 3-minute presentation or the 30-minute?
And I loved one answer was, well, we're here, so we might as well hear the whole thing. I love that.
I've only had one person ever tell me they wanted the 3-minute, and I could have kissed him right on the mouth. I'm like, yes, because me too. Let's cut through all the shit. What do you think your house is worth? He told me what he thinks it's worth. I said, you're spot on. Here's the proof that you're spot on. Here's the paperwork. We filled out the paperwork. It was a 15-minute appointment. It was awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. And did that house sell?
Start to finish it. Yeah, it sold.
Okay, there you go.
Of course it did.
All right, I like that.
Have you met me? By the way, thank you everyone who helped us sell that little starter home in Benton City. It's under contract. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. I'm really, really excited for these people to get to their next step. So thank you very much. Really sweet couple that are buying it. So it all worked out exactly the way it should.
That's awesome. We have 30 seconds left in the program. Go.
I don't know. I just think I want to say if you're going through a hard time, keep going one step at a time. The thing that you think might help, go ahead and see if it will. Whether that's mental, physical, spiritual, financial, whatever it is, make that next step forward.
I love that. For the prettiest girl in the world, Londa Joanne Sherwood Austin, my name is David Austin. This has been another edition of The Session with Londa and David. We'll see you right back here next week.